I
see one.
Oh, booksellers.
And
there's 50 or somewhere.
Oh, like a kind of parents can have. Yes, back the person,
Or we can start without them. I want to welcome you to the second annual Kansas City Filmmakers Jubilee. I'm Fred Andrews. I was told to introduce myself once already this week. We're happy to have you. We've had already a real success with our premiere last Thursday of Touch at the Act 3 theaters. We've had some good seminars earlier today with film production and with John Pearson. Now we're happy to going to be showing you the award-winning films from the Jubilee. This year we had 67 entries, probably about 40 of them. Gene was the filmmaker for the last one you saw, 60 Hertz, and he has won the Kodak Experimental Film Prize. It's $1,000 of Kodak film. John McGrath, who did Where's Phil, he gets the Fuji Film Prize, which is $500 worth of Fuji 16mm film. Andrew Harbeck, who did Trapped Alone, won the New Tech Animation Prize. It's a package of lightwave 3D software. And Planet Trash by Kevin McKinney is receiving an award from the Film Society.
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, my name is Butch Rigby. I'm president of the Film Society of Greater Kansas City. In addition to his regular prize, we're very happy to present our first annual Aspiring Filmmakers Award plaque to Kevin McKinney, along with a check for $250 from the Film Society of Greater Kansas City. Congratulations to all the independent filmmakers.
Kevin's on a shoot, I think in Indianapolis. I was the editor on his film, and I'm just sure that he would be very, this is great, very happy with this. Thanks.
Well, again, and then on behalf of the Film Society of Greater Kansas City, we're proud to sponsor, be a co-sponsor of the Filmmakers Jubilee, and of course, congratulations to Fred Andrews for making the event in only its second year of being
If we want to start off with Gene, he could say a little something about his film. John Sieglin was also involved with it, as well as he can go.
The man coming down here is the reason that we even have a film, because we would have had nothing to shoot. This is Jim Woodfield. He does kinetic light sculptures, and it was his sculptures that were the heart and soul of this thing. All right. And I'm John Sieglin, and this is Gene Hurdle.
It's a fun experimental project, and it's nice to kind of get attached up with the filmmakers and see what you can get accomplished.
It's a collaboration kind of experience between the three of us. I think John put us two together, and then the three of us sat down and over 2 or 3 days, it seemed, not all at one time, but over the course of months, determine how we wanted to take the film and the type of film stock we're going to use, the cameras, bringing the animation in, and just the whole package. And then the process, I think, was a group thing where we started at one point and we went one way and then we stopped and came back and went another direction and stopped and came back. And it was just 3 people sitting, talking, looking at the film, shooting again, getting into rushes, editing.
And light bulbs are great to work with because you don't have to feed them. When they burn out, you put another light bulb in. It's very refreshing after doing a narrative film.
I have sort of a two-part question. First, are the light sculptures usually shown in just sort of a real-life environment for people to look at? And if so, was it different for you to have to try to translate that into the two-dimensional world of, of a movie screen?
Well, yeah, I do a lot of installation work in galleries, that type of thing. I wanted to, we went at it to start with thinking about the possibility of a sort of a documentation of the sculptures. And I wanted to try to push that to where from my point of view, the sculpture actually became a piece of film. So these sculptures, instead of being used as tools in an overall installation, they became kind of tools to make a film with. So it wasn't a hard transition at all, but there were some things that we could do with film that my sculptures didn't do on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And those were the things I looked at more than anything. The animation, the strobing effects with the shadows in the film, the frames per second, which is some things we're looking at further to experiment with. Just trying to push it around and play with it.
I'm thinking about doing 50 hertz, which will be the European version. Okay, let's go ahead and let some other people talk, and thank you.
Well, I did triathlon. My name's Andy, and I don't know if anybody has any questions to start with, or I can talk about something. Anybody have any questions? Well, yeah.
How did you come up with the German?
It was sort of just writing down, taking just mnemonically or listening to what some different German tapes and different things, and trying to come up with something that no one would understand, really. So, I mean, and I mean, even if you do partially know what some of it is, it wouldn't make any sense to anybody. And that way, it was an attempt to separate the dialogue, or as an attempt to separate what you were hearing from how you were understanding it then. So, I know a lot of times, subtitles is like, stay away, no subtitles, but I was hoping to use it as a way to incorporate more of a literary way of understanding. When you read something, you understand it in your own mind. Everybody's a good actor in their own mind, especially when you read it. So that was an attempt to do something like that.
What was the origination of your idea?
I think it started off with I wanted to attempt to use animation and more of a live action type of situation where the animation stood for one thing, stood for maybe what was unreality or what was fake, and then the live action, what we considered to be, was more of a reality to us. But I wanted to use the characters then, and in their own minds they begin to twist that around. So the animation began to become maybe more real to them, and it helped serve as a transition for, the way they were going, where they were headed. They were headed to this point, but they kept going from spot to spot, which had no correlation to anything. So it was mainly an attempt to to use animation and a live action situation that sort of confused what we would think as animation as just being something that's not real, even though it doesn't appear to be real to us. Anybody else?
On more of a technical level, was some of the shots that you did on video, just like the panoramic shots of nature, were you manipulating color with that at all? It's sort of difficult to tell if that was just the footage as shot or there was something going on after the fact.
Yeah, some of the shots were manipulated. Some of them were taken in to Photoshop or another paint program, frame by frame, and manipulated in that respect, or After Effects, which is another type of layout program, and stretched a little bit and broken up in different areas. So.
One part where the water is going down the rocks.
Yeah.
Is the water, is that light, is that from the computer, or how did you accomplish that?
That one was actual footage. It was just using a higher shutter speed so that it caught the ground a little bit more clearly than it normally would. So that was some of the only real shots.
Thank you, Henry.
I'm John McGrath. I did Where's Phil? I did it about 3 years ago. Some people here that helped me out was Rosanna, Duran, and Rick Cowan, and the God Todd Norris too. But I did it one take about 3 years ago out in front of the Westport Coffee House. This is torture for me because I get nervous when I do this, so I'm usually behind the camera. So if you got any questions, ask away.
When did you realize that God had given you a gift for heavy metal singing?
Yeah, unfortunately, the song at the end, I guess fortunately or unfortunately, that's Ron Simone and I singing the lyrics on it. So. That was a birthday present from an ex-girlfriend of mine that was the inspiration for the film. So, however that works out. Yeah.
How did you stabilize the image? I mean, was that a Steadicam or was that?
Yeah. Steve Bazant from Wichita was a Steadicam operator. He deserves a lot of credit on that. We had to watch for reflections in the glass and booms and stuff like that. He did a really good job. We probably did about 14 times, and I think that's number 12. Yeah.
Where did Phil end up?
Hey, it's a short film. Good question. What I tried to do, this is real theory, about the only thing I learned in film school, is the Hitchcock has the shared secret where you know there's a bomb, you the audience members know there's a bomb planted underneath the table, and nobody in the film does, so that's a shared secret. What I tried to do is let you as an audience member know where he's at and nobody else does know, and when you finally go back, you have been kind of juked and you don't even know where he's at, so that's the theory behind it. Sure.
I admire the lighting on that. How did you manipulate the lights?
Sun.
That was
that was
no reflectors or anything.
Well, that's a good question because we had to pick if it was overcast, it would have really hurt. I mean, it was overcast, so that really helped. It wasn't a real sunny day. And Woody Bengoa, he plays the waiter. There's only one scene where the camera kind of turns and it pans to him and he gets kind of irised out, so he's just all in black. But that would have, with the Steadicam, it's real hard to manipulate the iris while the Steadicam operator's moving. So we had to that's about the only time where the lighting screwed up. But just a nice day, sunshine-wise, as far as the lighting. We did kind of a sound design. Craig Paddock did the sound, and we went out a couple days before. Knew a bus would come by at this time, or having little bit characters say little funny things as the camera went by. So, it's the first film I did, so I'm pretty proud of it. It's funny, I did a second one and it sucks. So. I'll take my cue from Kevin Smith with that, so hopefully my third one will be chasing me. Everything will be fine. And the funny funny thing with this, and I'll quit talking because I'm so nervous. At the beginning of the film, he's getting stabbed, and he sounded fake. He sounded like he didn't know. Just bad acting. My worst actor, thank God, just had to grunt. So he just couldn't get it. And I says, okay, make it sound like you're going to the bathroom. So we kind of nailed it with that, right? So, but I tell you, every time this darn thing starts, it sounds like the guy's on the toilet. That's about all I remember from it.
How long did you rehearse?
That's a big deal. I'm a firm believer the two most important things are the writing and the acting. The photography comes third, and the directing's the easy part. That's the third part. So rehearsal was a real big deal. Like I said, we rolled on that thing about 14 times, but we got up at crack of dawn, and I, instead of doing it in a in a more rehearsal setting, we just did it there beforehand, and we just keep going back and forth and back and forth. The actors did a good job. A lot of them were theater actors, so they were kind of it was kind of anti-film as far as acting-wise. I had to tell them to totally be on the whole time. I mean, my dialogue ends here, but as the camera's over here, you just make up a story, keep talking, and make up a story that'll fit to when it comes back to you. So rehearsals were huge. And I'd tell the actors, if we get, it was about 6.5 minutes long, if we get like 4 minutes into it, you screw up, just keep going. I mean, there was a certain time period where I said, just keep going, because it was a great take, up until then. So if you even, busted a line, just keep going, and that helped out in rehearsals. But
you just rehearsed that day of the shoot?
That day, probably 30, 40 times. Rosanna, she could attest to that. It was great. I had a great experience. Rick Cowan did a great job helping me AD that thing. We had PAs. People had to stop for people from walking by, and they had these signs up and stuff like that. But it worked out perfect. Everything, I thought there'd be people walking in, writing a shot and looking around. It turned out really well. So, like I said, I'm really back in my third one I'm going to do on film. I'm a news photographer at Channel 41. I get all the TV, all of that. So I'm saving up money to do either a real expensive short or a real cheap feature.
I was the editor on Planet Trash. Like I said, Kevin's away on a shoot, but I'll try to answer any questions you have about his film. Yeah.
I know about the slides. Were those projected, or how was that?
No, we projected them very small on a screen, and then just used the Betacam and just fed it into the Avid just via standard videotape, and then edited it from there. So. We tried a bunch of different ways. We tried scanning them and a bunch of other stuff, and shooting it with Beta just overall looked the best. We tried 3 or 4 different ways. So, and that was the easiest too, cheapest.
So just as part of the same, so the photographs were prints or slides?
They were slides.
Okay.
They were slides.
And you just aimed the Betacam camera?
Yeah, we had the slide projector, and if you're going to do that, just make the slide projector, make the picture as small as you possibly can, because it's much more even illumination. And it's much brighter, you get better colors and stuff, and then just get the Betacam in there and stick it on macro, and away you go. And then we added the mask in the Avid. All the masking was done in the Avid and stuff like that.
So that was like miniature rear projection, or what? I mean, it was.
No, it's just videotaping off a screen. And Kevin had 3 times as many pictures as that's in the movie. And when he came to me and said, "All right, let's start," and he had stacks of slides.
I've seen
And
those.
I said, "How long is this film?" "Oh, it's only a few minutes long." And I said, "Man, we're going to be whipping through these slides." So he had a bunch of sequences in the museum where he tried to animate the characters going through the museum, and we were going to just cut them really quickly together. But unfortunately, he didn't. In order to do that correctly, you have to have a pin-registered camera, and it has to be on a tripod, because if it moves, and it's obvious in the last few, so there were sequences of 20 slides that we used 3, just because we tried editing them together quickly, and it didn't make any sense. So that was one thing. He had a lot more pictures than we ended up showing, but I think it works better actually, the slower picture.
Was there an exterior of the museum that had some like hazy lighting?
Yeah, I don't know what he did there. He had, again, he had a whole bunch of photos there, and I think what he did was just set the camera up and run around with like light sticks and just sort of do this on strings. And so that, you know, I think he went out dressed in black and just sort of waved stuff around. And, you know, just kept the frame open. Because some of them he had were just really bizarre, and then some of them didn't come out very well at all. So we kind of used the middle one.
How was the audience reception at South by Southwest?
The audience really liked it at South by Southwest. It went over really well. It's sort of unusual. It's more like an AV show. If you've ever been to museums or whatever and seen AV shows, it's more like that. But I think that's a great way to tell a story. You know, it's just with photographs and putting them together. I think it's a fabulous way to, you know, to make a film. If you can't afford thousands of feet of 16, a whole lot of rolls of 35 in your camera is a lot cheaper, and I think it's just as effective for something like this. You know, as a mock museum piece. I think it works great, and the audience in South by Southwest really liked it. So I thought it was a real fun project to work on.
Are we supposed to still tell Kevin that he only got the plaque and no money?
Yeah, don't tell him he got the check. Cool. Well, thank you all.
Just to note, the Jubilee is a collaborative event with the Film Society, one from Pants. Todd got the Astro Lab Award. It's $500 in post-production services. Rosanna did tender, and she got the Jubilee Prize. It's a $200 check from the Jubilee. And Ahmad, is he here? Ahmad is giving the Lonely Seal Pictures Award to Catherine Naples for Lorelei.
I'll make this really simple since you want to watch. Two more. No one knows what the award is until just now. So it is $300 plus, since she's finishing film school in Los Angeles, she also gets 2 VIP tickets to any concert at the House of Blues coming up, plus 2 passes to the private room at the House of Blues in Los Angeles.
Chris and Jeff and their stand-in, they got the Panavision Prize. It's a week or 2 weeks of camera rental from Panavision. Depends on what kind of camera they get to rent or get, whether it's 2 weeks or 1 week. But that's Panavision out of Dallas.
Oh, cool.
Rosanna, you wanted to start?
Someone got any questions? I don't usually get a lot of questions, okay?
Who did the costumes?
I made all the costumes myself, each stitch. Anyone else?
What was the locale?
That park is Swope Park. It's the golf course in Swope Park. Rich?
Where'd your idea come from? A germination?
Well, all of my films are pretty emotionally driven, so they pretty much represent the state of mind I'm in at the time. So, anyone? Yes.
Final shot looked like something like Stonehenge in the back. Where was that?
We were in Stonehenge. No, it's actually out by Bannister Mall. Remember that, Andy? Where's Andy? Andy Wax, does he in here? Hey, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone? Yes. Yeah, that was 16 millimeter, transferred to, digital realm to do the stop motion. Thank you.
Where's the soundtrack from?
Philip Lawson does my soundtracks. He's no longer living in the area. He actually gave me that soundtrack in about 5 different pieces, and I put it together myself. So. Anyone else? Yes?
Tell us the story of the super glue. The tear.
A lot of people wonder how I got that. That was a crystal that I super glued to my face and ripped off and super glued it and ripped off about 10 times to get the tear to roll down my face. Anything for art. Thank you.
I did L. John.
Todd, tell us about kind of how the subtitles came about.
No. All right. Well, I guess I can tell the whole story. Originally, it was supposed to be in color and in English. You know, the way it started, I wanted to do anything widescreen. You know, letterbox effect, because all of my favorite movies are done that way. So I was trying to imitate that look. But we were losing the sun at the end of the day when we were shooting, and so the color balance looked all wrong. So we thought, well, we'll just take the color out and make it black and white. That'll make it seem even, more like when you think of widescreen movies and you think of the artsy effect of it. And then we just decided to go all the way, and I think whenever you watch a movie and it's subtitled, since you don't know the language that you're listening to, you're not paying attention to whether the acting is good or bad or whatever. So I think you automatically equate a sense of quality a lot of times to foreign films that may not even be there, just because you're having to interpret. You're reading the words, so you're not even paying attention to the performance of the acting necessarily, because you don't understand the words. So I thought, well, that's what I can do too. We'll just, we'll throw on the subtitles, and we'll even seem more self-important. So it's one of those things that the final product actually, because of the mistakes or whatever that were made, actually became better. It was going to be in color and English, but I think by being black and white and subtitled, that makes it even all fun. Anything?
Where did you show the film?
Where are we showing it?
Yeah. What have you done with it so far?
We showed it at the Cannes, Kansas, the Cannes Film Festival, and did it play Culture Under Fire?
Yes.
Yeah, Culture Under Fire. And I've tried to enter it some other places, but it so far it hasn't made the cut anywhere else until here. So, but I'm still trying to get it out there. So.
Where else have you tried?
Slam Dance and South by Southwest. Actually, I just got a call from somebody who's doing the Hermosa Beach Film Festival, and they want me to submit it. So.
It's a great film.
Thanks. Oh, was that good?
What are you working on now?
I'm finishing up post-production on this feature-length thing that I shot on video called The Paranormal that will be. And I'm writing stuff right now, some shorts that I want to do over the summer, maybe on video, maybe on film, depending on how financial situations. But I'm all excited about those, and I could spend hours talking about that stuff that I want to do, but I won't.
This is a new soundtrack, and it's by Nielsen. I didn't have time to include that in the credits. And also my cinematographer, Dominic Pereira, is here. Do you want to stand up, Dominic?
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, where'd you shoot it?
In Malibu, Leo Carrillo.
The photography is really good.
Yeah.
Was this an LMU project, or was it?
Yes, it was. This was my junior project for LMU, and the assignment was the Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. And the assignment was to do a short film without using dialogue.
How many days did you shoot?
We only shot 3 days, actually, and I was really lucky because I happened to get the fog on the beach just at the right time. So.
What was the music from?
That was Niels Nielsen. He composed an original composition for the movie, an original score.
Are you submitting it anywhere else?
Yeah, I should. I'm going to submit it, hopefully. It made the Humboldt Festival, but I haven't gone to composite, so that's a problem. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to screen it on video. It's about $1,500 to go to composite, so we'll see.
Did you have a seagull wrangler?
Yeah, it's all luck.
What's your senior project?
It's called The Watchers, and it's based on a Sarah Orne Jewett novel. I don't know if you've heard of the writer. Just a short story. It's about two old women who stay up the wake of a funeral. And I decided this time to do completely work on character development. So this was production value, and this next one I really try to test my directing skills. So I'm working on a soundtrack for that right now. And I was trying to get a shot of an old house out here.
And when is that going to screen?
I'm hoping to have it done by the end of May.
Is there an LMU screening now?
Oh, it already screened at LMU.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, but I'm still working on it.
So I'm sorry, you're from here and just go to school out here?
Yeah, I moved here in high school, and now I go to school in Los Angeles.
Chris Messler is also a student out at is it USC?
Yeah.
At USC, his family lives here in Kansas City.
I've known Chris since I was born, and I saw this for the first time just like the rest of you people, so I probably wouldn't be any good at answering any questions. But if you guys want to ask, go ahead.
Ask questions, no answers.
Where is he now? Is he?
He's still living in California, and as far as I know, he's doing pretty good. I think he's working on another project that he doesn't really tell me much about his projects. It's just like top secret, you know. I don't know why. That's what it is.
Okay. Well, another hand for the filmmaker. Prize winner. He gets the Kodak New Independence Lab prize as $1,500 worth of Kodak film and whatever it takes from New Independence Lab to process it.
Well, I want to thank Fred for putting this whole thing together. It's just fantastic, and then at the top of the list, it would be Dan Wayne back there, my cinematographer. Also, the music was done by a Kansas City native, Brett Engel, who some of you might know, and the original story was told to me by a friend of mine from Kansas City. Changed it very considerably, but anyway, I guess if anyone has any questions. Rich?
So what's the history of the film? Have you entered it in festivals? Have you done it?
We finished it in December of '95, and then it premiered at Taos the following March, and played in a lot of festivals, and then was on PBS in Texas on a program called The Territory, and then it was in a program of short films that toured Australia last year that a guy just called me. He was doing kind of independent shorts programs, and then Culture Under Fire, and I don't remember exactly how, about 10 or something. But the circuits, you have a year basically after you complete the film, and then it kind of expires, that you can't submit it. It has to be made within a year of the festival dates. All right, well, thanks a lot.
That's the end of our screenings for the day. We have a reception for the filmmakers down at the Grand Arts Gallery at 1819 Grand. So you can get together with them, have a little wine, have a little beer, eat a little food, and talk. But don't forget, tomorrow at 1 o'clock we have a screenwriting seminar here, and followed by the screenings of the honorable mention films. So there's more to come. The Jubilee isn't over, and let's just celebrate filmmaking in Kansas City. Thank you.
Yeah.